Over the years as a brain doctor, I've seen so many patients over 60 who are truly trying their best to eat well. They skip fried foods, they avoid soda, and instead they reach for snacks that are labeled healthy. And yet, I've watched their blood pressure climb, their arteries stiffen, and their stroke risk quietly grow. The truth is, some of the very snacks we've been told are good for us can actually be working against our brain and heart health. They don't show their harm right away. In fact, they often make us feel like we're making smart choices. But inside our bodies, they can trigger inflammation, spike our blood sugar, or raise our blood pressure, all silent steps toward a stroke. If you're over 60, stroke risk is something you can't afford to ignore. Strokes can change everything in a single moment: your independence, your memory, even your ability to speak. But the good news is, so much of this risk is within our control. Let's start with one of the most common healthy snacks in America, the packaged granola bar. You've seen them stacked high in grocery aisles, wrapped in bright colors, often with pictures of oats, nuts, and berries on the box. The marketing makes them look like nature's gift in a wrapper. And for many people over 60, they feel like the perfect choice: quick, portable, and far better than a candy bar. But here's the truth I've learned from years of reviewing food labels in my patients' homes. Most commercial granola bars are little more than candy bars in disguise. Many are held together with corn syrup, brown rice syrup, or other forms of refined sugar. Even the honey-sweetened ones can contain 3 or 4 different types of sugar, sometimes adding up to 10 or more grams per bar. That's about 2.5 teaspoons of sugar in a single snack. When you eat that sugar, your blood sugar spikes quickly. Your body responds by releasing insulin to bring it down, but that roller coaster effect can damage the delicate lining of your blood vessels over time. For older adults, whose arteries are already less flexible, these repeated spikes contribute to inflammation and make it easier for fatty deposits to build up. Both of those changes increase your stroke risk. And it's not just sugar. Many granola bars also use low-quality vegetable oils to keep them chewy. These oils, especially when processed, can promote oxidative stress, another factor that harms blood vessels and makes clots more likely. I remember one patient, a 68-year-old retired teacher named Carol. She was proud of her morning routine: coffee, a glass of water, and a granola bar before her walk. But when we looked closely, her healthy bar had more sugar than a glazed donut. Once she switched to a homemade version with plain oats, nuts, and unsweetened dried fruit, her cholesterol levels improved within months. If you enjoy granola bars, you don't have to give them up entirely. Just be choosy. Here's what I recommend. Look for bars with less than 5 grams of sugar per serving. Check that oats or nuts are the first ingredient, not syrup. Avoid bars with hydrogenated oils or a long list of additives. Better yet, make your own at home. Mix rolled oats, chopped nuts, a drizzle of pure honey, and a touch of cinnamon. Bake or press them into bars, and you'll have a snack that fuels your body without quietly raising your stroke risk. Your brain and your heart will thank you for that small but powerful change. Now let's talk about another snack that seems perfectly harmless, even healthy at first glance. Dried fruit labeled no added sugar. You might see a bag of raisins, apricots, or mango slices and think, perfect. Fruit is good for me, and this one says it has no added sugar. But here's the part most people don't realize. When fruit is dried, the water is removed, and all that natural sugar becomes concentrated. A fresh grape might have just a tiny bit of sugar in each bite, but once it's turned into a raisin, you can fit dozens into a small handful. And that means you're getting a much bigger sugar load, much faster than you would from fresh fruit. This high sugar concentration causes your blood sugar to spike more sharply. Over time, those spikes can lead to inflammation inside your arteries, higher triglyceride levels, and higher blood pressure, all factors that raise your stroke risk, especially after 60 when your blood vessels are less elastic. To give you a picture, Half a cup of raisins contains around 40 grams of natural sugar. That's roughly the same as 10 teaspoons of table sugar. And remember, it's not about whether the sugar is natural or added. Your body still reacts to large amounts in the same way. I once had a patient named James, 72 years old, who loved snacking on dried mango in the afternoons. He believed it was a far better choice than cookies. But his blood tests kept showing elevated triglycerides and borderline high blood pressure. When we swapped his afternoon dried fruit for fresh berries and a handful of almonds, his numbers improved significantly within 3 months. This doesn't mean you can never have dried fruit. It's about portion and pairing. Here's how to make it safer. Limit yourself to a small portion, about the size of a golf ball. Pair it with protein or healthy fats, like a few walnuts or pumpkin seeds. This slows the sugar's impact on your blood. Choose unsweetened versions and always check the label. Sometimes no added sugar products still include fruit juice concentrate, which acts just like sugar in your body. Fresh fruit is always the better option, especially berries, apples, or citrus, which are high in fiber and antioxidants, but lower in sugar. By making this simple swap, you can still enjoy something sweet while protecting your brain and keeping your stroke risk in check. Another snack that often fools even the most health-conscious seniors is flavored yogurt. You might see strawberries, blueberry, or vanilla yogurt in the dairy aisle, complete with pictures of fresh fruit and labels boasting about probiotics. It feels like the perfect combination, something creamy, delicious, and good for digestion. But here's what the packaging doesn't tell you. Most flavored yogurts contain far more sugar than your body needs, especially if you're over 60 and trying to protect your heart and brain. A single small cup can easily have 15 to 20 grams of added sugar. That's about 4 to 5 teaspoons. And when you combine that sugar with the natural lactose already in milk, you get a spike in blood sugar that your arteries won't thank you for. Those repeated spikes cause tiny injuries to the lining of your blood vessels. Over time, your body tries to patch these injuries with cholesterol deposits, which stiffen and narrow the arteries. Narrower arteries mean higher blood pressure and a greater chance of a clot reaching your brain, exactly what we want to avoid when we talk about lowering stroke risk. I remember Mary, a 72-year-old grandmother who swore by her morning fruit yogurt. She thought she was doing her health a favor, but after reviewing her diet, we discovered her yogurt was giving her the same sugar hit as a small slice of cake every single day. When she switched to plain Greek yogurt topped with fresh berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon, she noticed her energy was steadier and her blood pressure readings began to improve. If you love yogurt, here's how to keep it truly healthy. Choose plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. It's higher in protein, which helps keep you full longer. Add your own fresh fruit for natural sweetness. Berries are best for their antioxidants and lower sugar content. For extra flavor, try cinnamon, nutmeg, or a drop of pure vanilla extract. If you must add sweetness, use just a small drizzle of raw honey or maple syrup, far less than you'd find in store-bought flavored varieties. The idea here is simple. Let yogurt be the nourishing, gut-friendly food it's meant to be, without turning it into dessert. Your taste buds will adjust quickly to less sugar, and your brain and heart will benefit every single day. Choosing the right yogurt may seem like a small step, but it's one of those daily habits that can quietly lower your stroke risk over time. Let's move on to another sneaky snack, packaged crackers that proudly claim whole grain on the box. Many people over 60 reach for these, thinking they're a heart-healthy choice, especially compared to regular salty chips. After all, whole grains are supposed to be good for digestion and blood sugar, right? The problem is, in most commercial crackers, whole grain doesn't mean entirely whole grain. If you look closely at the ingredients list, you'll often see refined flour listed right alongside the whole grains. That means you're still getting a product that can cause your blood sugar to rise faster than you'd expect. Then there's the salt. Crackers are one of the top hidden sources of sodium in many seniors' diets. A small handful can contain 150-200 milligrams of sodium. And who eats just one handful? Too much sodium makes your body retain water, which increases the volume of blood your heart has to pump. This puts extra pressure on your arteries and can raise your stroke risk within hours. On top of that, many crackers are baked with inexpensive vegetable oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids. While some omega-6 is fine, too much can promote inflammation in your blood vessels, another factor that contributes to clot formation. If you love a crunchy snack, you don't have to give it up. Instead, look for crackers with 100% whole grains listed as the first ingredient. Choose versions labeled low sodium or aim for under 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. Better yet, make your own crispy snacks. Thinly slice sweet potatoes or zucchini, brush lightly with olive oil and bake until crisp. Or replace crackers entirely with cucumber or carrot slices, paired with hummus for fiber, protein, and healthy fats. These small swaps keep the crunch you crave while protecting your arteries and keeping your stroke risk lower with every bite. Now let's talk about bottled smoothies, the kind you find in the refrigerated section or even at your favorite coffee shop. They're often marketed with bright colors and pictures of fresh fruit, promising a quick burst of vitamins and energy. Many people over 60 choose them thinking it's just blended fruit, it has to be healthy. Here's the problem. Most commercial smoothies are loaded with sugar, even when they're labeled all natural. Yes, that sugar often comes from fruit, but the amount is far more than you'd ever eat in one sitting if the fruit were whole. Without the natural fiber from intact fruit, that sugar rushes into your bloodstream much faster. This rapid spike in blood sugar can set off a chain reaction. Your insulin rises, your blood vessels experience stress, and inflammation starts to build inside the arteries. Over time, that damage raises your stroke risk. Some bottled smoothies also contain added sweeteners like agave syrup, fruit juice concentrate, or cane sugar. One popular brand's green smoothie contains over 50 grams of sugar. That's about 12 teaspoons in a single bottle. Drinking that is like having dessert for breakfast without realizing it. I worked with a patient named Robert, age 70, who drank a bottled smoothie every afternoon instead of soda. He thought it was a smart trade, but his blood pressure and triglycerides kept climbing. When he switched to making smoothies at home with spinach, frozen berries, unsweetened almond milk, and a spoonful of flaxseed, he cut his sugar intake dramatically. And within weeks, his numbers improved. Here's how to make smoothies work for your health. Blend them yourself at home, using mostly vegetables and a small amount of fruit for sweetness. Include healthy fats or protein, like Greek yogurt, nut butter, or chia seeds, to slow down sugar absorption. Avoid bottled versions with more than 15 grams of sugar per serving. By being mindful about smoothies, you can enjoy their flavor and nutrients without unknowingly increasing your stroke risk. Finally, let's look at a snack many people think of as heart-healthy: salted roasted nuts. Nuts themselves are packed with protein, fiber, and healthy fats that can help protect your heart and brain. The trouble starts when they're roasted in unhealthy oils and coated with generous amounts of salt. Most commercial roasted nuts use oils like soybean or peanut oil, which are inexpensive but high in omega-6 fatty acids. Too much omega-6, without enough omega-3 to balance it, can promote inflammation in your blood vessels. Inflammation is one of the key players in the buildup of plaque inside your arteries, a process that can eventually lead to a stroke. Then there's the sodium. A single ounce of salted cashews or peanuts can contain 150 milligrams of sodium. If you snack without measuring, it's easy to double or triple that in one sitting. Excess sodium raises blood pressure quickly, and for someone over 60, even small spikes can put significant stress on arteries that may already be less flexible. This combination, higher inflammation and higher blood pressure, quietly increases your stroke risk over time. I recall one of my patients, Linda, age 74, who kept a jar of salted mixed nuts by her recliner. She'd grab a handful while watching TV every evening. She didn't realize those handfuls were adding hundreds of milligrams of sodium to her day. When she switched to unsalted, dry roasted almonds and walnuts, her blood pressure readings began to drop within weeks. If you enjoy nuts, and I hope you do, here are a few tips. Choose raw or dry roasted nuts with no added salt. If you prefer some flavor, sprinkle lightly with herbs or spices like cinnamon, smoked paprika, or rosemary. Stick to a small handful per day, about the size of a golf ball, to keep calories and fats in balance. With these simple changes, you can keep all the benefits of nuts while avoiding the hidden dangers that could raise your stroke risk. So, what have we learned today? The truth is, not every snack that looks healthy, or even carries labels like natural or whole grain, is truly safe for your heart and brain. Packaged granola bars, dried fruit, flavored yogurt, whole grain crackers, bottled smoothies, and salted roasted nuts all have one thing in common. They can quietly push up your blood pressure, spike your blood sugar, and trigger inflammation in your blood vessels. Over time, these small daily habits can add up, increasing your stroke risk without you even noticing. But here's the good news. You have the power to change this starting today. By reading labels more carefully, watching your portions, and making simple swaps, you can still enjoy snacks you love while protecting your health. Homemade granola bars, fresh fruit, plain Greek yogurt, raw veggies with hummus, homemade smoothies, and unsalted nuts are all delicious options that work with your body instead of against it. I know change can feel overwhelming, especially if these snacks have been part of your routine for years. But remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Even replacing one risky snack with a healthier choice is a victory for your brain, your heart, and your future. If you found today's information helpful, I invite you to join me here on Elderly Whisper for more practical science-backed tips on staying healthy after 60. Together, we can make small daily choices that protect your memory, your independence, and your quality of life. Take care of your brain. It's where every precious memory lives. And remember, every bite you choose is either building a stronger future or putting it at risk. Let's choose wisely, starting today.